What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Phenomenal Fatherhood. I'm your host, TG3, and I have a very, very special guest with you guys. We've been working on getting this special guest in the building for like a month at least. I actually saw him on another podcast and wanted to have him on. Real quick, though, all the dads, just want to say happy Phenomenal Fatherhood Friday. Make sure you guys are doing something special for yourselves with Father's Day just around the corner. We're adding a new update to get off of Discord and jump onto phenomenalfatherhood.com. So phenomenalfatherhood.com, click on community. Everything's all going to be in one place, because if you're a dad like me, you don't like to have to shop or go anywhere else to have to find anything. So I'm trying to consolidate as much as I can for myself and others. But yeah, man, I'm here with Andreas. He has an organization called Knightriderz. Tell the people a little bit about yourself and your organization, man. I'm super pumped to have you here.
Thank you, man. Thank you for inviting me up here. This is actually my first podcast, like a invitee. You know, like I've always done podcasts and invited people, but I've never been actually on somebody else's podcast. So thank you for inviting me. But yeah, I'm from Big Ed Knightriderz podcast. Been doing this for about a year at my house and stuff, and my living room, and just random people that I know of, grew up with, having them around. But I'm from Huntsville, Texas, home of Sam Houston. You know, Sam Houston. Exactly right. Sam Houston, the one that, if you know your history, the one that beat Mexico in the war back in the 1800s. So that's where I grew up in. So a lot of people ask me, is there a lot of racism down there? I would say not really. Well, depends on, I guess, people in general. But me personally, I never experienced racism at all in growing up in Huntsville. Every now and then, maybe in a high school, I think that's where I experienced a little racism towards my end. Not the whole from pre-K to getting into high school. I think towards the end, junior year, senior year is where I started experiencing a little racism going on in there. But I didn't think not much of it. I just kept going with what I had planned out to do after high school, which was just work at all. So
Facts.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Really, well, if you have if you plan it out and everything, and you're going through it, like some people, my brother was just telling me yesterday that his son's girlfriend, she has her schedule, because she's graduating tomorrow, class of 2025. So shout out to Huntsville High School.
Shout out to Huntsville High School, all the graduates.
Yeah, and everybody else graduating, congratulations. It is a beautiful experience. It's just rough. Life is always rough, but just keep your head up and just keep walking through it, and it'll get easy with time. But she was telling them that she has planned to be a truck driver, which is, that kind of blew me off. I never really saw a female be a truck driver, but I've seen people post more and more that there is more female truck drivers, female electricians, female plumbers, I think. So the females are starting to be more out there and doing like what you consider man's job and stuff. So
Yeah, trades.
Yeah,
My cousin's actually a female truck driver.
For real?
Yeah, her birthday's today, so happy birthday,
happy
Ashley.
birthday.
You know what I'm saying? If you're watching this, which you're probably not, but I'm going to send it to you so you can see it anyway.
Does she like this? The female, that truck driving?
She does. She's always been a extreme introvert, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So her being on the road by herself is like, I could totally see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh, yep, that fits. Yep, yeah. I can see that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, I mean, because, like, I don't know if you've seen the videos, Fox News, ABC 13 News, the Houston news stuff they post on Facebook and all, but there's a lot of more road rage going around here in Texas.
Yeah. Y'all got to stop that, man. I don't know if y'all ever seen that movie. Have you seen that movie with, like, Russell Crowe, where it's like they pull over? It's like this lady come over there, she like beep beep, like bumping the horn, and then Russell Crowe, he like, hey, you just need to apologize. All you gotta do is just say I'm sorry. And then the kids in the back seat, it's like a lady driving, but she real late to work. She having a bad day, and then she just like goes off on them. And then Russell Crowe's character is like, hey, he like catches up to her again. He's like, you're not gonna apologize? And then she's like, F you, you know what I'm saying? Get out my face, win. And then the whole rest of the movie, he's like, I bet you about to have the worst day of your life, and I'm gonna show you what a bad day looks like. And I was like, oh snap. The whole rest of the movie, like her kid gets kidnapped. She go to school to pick up her kid. He's gone. You know, like it's her. She gets like a video of her brother being tied up in a chair. This is a spoiler alert, by the way. I'm supposed to say that before I say this, but it's all good. So I don't even remember what the movie's called, but it's like ever since I seen that movie, I was like, man, you'll never know what somebody going through, man.
Yeah.
Especially with mental health right now, bro. Like I'd be like, you know what, you got it. You can cut me off. I ain't tripping. I'm still above ground. My kid's healthy. My kids need me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's not even that big of a deal. Like y'all need to stop that for real. Put you on some jazz music or put you on some 432 hertz Spotify playlist so you can get that love frequency vibration or something. You know, watch some comedy or something.
Yeah,
because it's not that serious. No, you know, I saw somebody flipping out at Starbucks recently, and I was like, really? You know what I mean? But hey, you know, eat different stroke for different folks. But tell the people a little bit more about Knightriderz. You know, what's your goal with that? What you doing with that?
So yeah, with Knightriderz, I'm just trying to grow a little bit bigger. That's why when I started looking for podcasts, I'm trying to get my podcast out there so I could spread my word and stuff. Really, my word is just mainly peace and love, like anybody is. But what I plan on going, like in a couple of years, what I'm hoping to get is really when I started this, I was hoping to get my friends and stuff, my buddies, to get, because we wanted to, back in high school, we wanted to start our own little car club. And one of my buddies actually said, let's call it Knightriderz. And we were all down with that. And we're like, okay, cool. Yeah, we're going to keep that name. And we were supposed to all, you know, get our own car. One of my buddies, he actually did get his, I think, right after graduating high school. He got his dream car, which was a 350Z.
Yeah, Nissan? Yeah.
He said he fell in love when he watched Tokyo Drift there.
Yeah. So spoiler or no spoiler?
No spoiler, I think.
Okay.
I think he's going out. But he got like he changed it up. He suited up really nice. It's one of them gray hoods. I just can't remember what they're called because I'm not like that big into cars. And I just got a couple months ago. I just got my car, a Mustang V6, 2014 V6 Mustang.
Ooh,
yeah, a green one. So if you see
welcome to the Mustang, real 99.
Yeah. So if you see a green Mustang out there, that's me right there.
Yeah.
So now we're just waiting for the other two buddies to get their cars and stuff, but. That's originally how Knightriderz started back in when we were in, doing our dumb stuff in high school. And so when I brought it through the time working, I was like, man, I want to do something where it's work, but it's like I just chill and talk because your voice will never die. Yeah. It will never die. Your body with time starts slowing down. You know, when we get older, starts slowing down. Your intensive stuff starts kind of breaking down apart and you're slowly dying and stuff. But your voice will never die. It's always going to live. So it's like, I want to do something like that where I can, you know, some people call it easy work and stuff, but it's really not right. Not just Knightriderz, but podcasts. Everybody does it different, but it's not as easy as it may seem because you want to plan, you want to give good content, you want to give. So it's like in a way it's a little stressful and stuff because you want to make sure you're putting out good content out there for viewers to be like, man, this is pretty good, you know. Like when I was watching your videos, it's like, man, it's pretty good because I feel like you're pushing out a vibe for fathers to not give up on themselves because people don't realize being a father is actually a tough job as well.
Facts.
It's people always focus more on single moms and what they go through and stuff, but they don't put a picture of what single dads go to. Because I wake up 4 or 5 in the morning to go to work, so I don't see my daughter and I don't get home. Right now it's 5, 6. So for like almost 12-hour period of time, I don't see my daughter. And then there's 1 week out of the month where I work late, you know, like I was telling you when we were trying to schedule this, every 2 weeks I'm available after work, but there's 1 week out of the month. Next month is going to be 2 weeks out of the month. So that I'll be working till 8, 9, 10 p.m., you know, whenever they get done building whatever they have to build. Because my job, I'm an inventory guy and I got to give parts to I work in the oil field and I gotta give them parts to build their motors that they're trying to get out to go out to the field so they can keep drilling because drilling never stops.
Facts.
You know, in the oil field it never stops. So we have to provide these parts and stuff for them to get out there. So, and if they have to stay till 8, 9, 10 p.m., they have to. Some people in the past they stayed till 1 in the morning, had to go home, shower, go to sleep, get up right back at 7 a.m.
Yup.
So that's one of the tough things that being a dad, that people don't realize being a dad is about. So imagine if you're a single father.
Yup.
And you have to get up, take your kids to school, go to work these long hours, and then come try to get home and, you know, provide dinner or something for them, for your kids, and also try to help them with homework and stuff. It's a tough job out there.
Yep.
And that's what I think a lot of people need to realize, because I watch the videos and it's always about single moms, and it's always about women out there trying to be better for themselves and not need no man and stuff, which, you know, it's fine. Everybody got to do their own thing, but we also got to show respect to the fathers out there actually doing stuff for their families, you know, actually putting food on the table or getting, you know, maintenance on the car, keeping maintenance on their houses, mobile homes, houses, whatever you live in, keeping up with that, because that stuff is pricey, especially how it is right now. That stuff is pricey. Everything's not cheap no more. And so
I really appreciate that, but I definitely disagree on one point. You know, for those women out there that think that y'all don't need no man, I completely disagree.
You think it's to do with that?
Yeah, I disagree wholeheartedly. And I think that it's on both sides.
It's on both sides.
You know what I mean? I think that women need men, and I think that men need women, you know? And you know what? When I was a kid, I did martial arts for 8 years, you know?
Oh, really?
And when I did Shaolin Kung Fu, they talk to you so much about yin and yang, the energy, right? But if you look at that symbol, it's a whole symbol. And it's I find it very striking. Like, we were talking about racism, how different nations and cultures, like, they tend to understand that yin and yang on a different level. You know what I mean? So when you look at their culture as a whole and you look at that symbol, the black part has a little circle of the white. The white part has a little circle of the black. But guess what? It can naturally spin, and it's in a flow of synergy. And that's the piece that most people are missing. It's like, it's not a back and forth between men and women. It's like how powerful we are when we're in unison and synergy, just like a freaking basketball or football team is what actually expounds us. But kind of similar to the whole story in the Bible, where it's like, oh, we're going to go after Eve, get her the apple. Apple gives Eve gives the apple to Adam, blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing happening on like a mental level. Think about it, right? So you go to the woman, you're like, we're going to put out this music. We're going to put out this propaganda. Propaganda is not new to the United States by a long shot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to put out this propaganda to the woman. Think about it from a military strategy standpoint. We're going to put out the propaganda to the woman that she don't need no man. Men on their side, they're going to be like, all right, well, we don't need y'all neither. Yeah. And now we're at war. Yeah. So now we can't see how powerful we can be together because we're too busy bickering and fighting. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, that's why when I had the conversation, when I first bring it up that you do need a man, a lot of women be like they'll scoff at it, but I'm like, we need each other. Then they're like, oh, okay. And then when you break it down in that manner, women are naturally better at certain skill sets, certain mindsets, and certain activities than men, just based on how our brains are biologically wired. And I never understood this to a full degree. But now I have son and I have a daughter. I have 2 daughters and I have a son, right? And then I have another son on the way. Okay. So when you raise children of different sexes, you can see like, wow, y'all really come out the room like wired like that. Like sometimes my daughter does stuff and I'm just like, wow, I've learned so much about women having a daughter, which I'm sure you have as well. Yeah, you know what I mean? But one thing that you say, I have a couple of things I want to touch on while we still have time. But one thing that stuck out to me right now that I really want to touch on, that I know a lot of guys bring up to me, is the inner turmoil. Like, we got to talk about this discussion. I'm so glad you brought this up and reminded me. And what I mean specifically is, like, dads have this really hard internal battle, right? I've had moments in my life where I was working construction. I've had moments in my life where I did 7, 12s or 6 18-hour shifts. I had moments in my life where I woke up in the morning, all I did was see my son sleep. I didn't get back until my son was sleeping again. Okay. But because we are grown up in a society where the typical American male does not understand their emotional bandwidth and they can't identify those emotions. It's hard for us to recognize as men that inner turmoil. And what I mean by that is like, you might be at work being like, dang man, I wish I could be with my kids. How many guys out there, drop it in the comments if you see this, but how many guys out there have gotten the phone, have picked up your phone while you was at work and saw your kids take their first step?
Oh, damn.
Versus seeing it live. You know what I mean? And being like, man, I wish I was at home. You know what I mean? It's like you working to provide for your family, but women don't necessarily understand that inner turmoil sometimes, that like you really do want to be there. You know what I mean? But you have to do what has to be done, or what you feel like has to be done based on your perception of life and what's going on in your reality right now. How many of us have looked at our phone and you got a message from your significant other, your baby mama, or whoever is taking care of your kids, and it's like this monumental moment? You know what I mean? Your son freaking hit a baseball, like finally connected with a baseball for the first time, and you're like, what? Oh, snap. And everybody looking at you like, bro, what's going on with you? Yeah. You're like, man, my son just connected with a baseball. Come look at this, come look at this, come look at this. You know what I mean? That's how we be at work. But by the time we get home after the next 7 hours, it's like that feeling has passed. So our woman might not be able to see that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's tough, man. Yeah. I work at home, you know, with digital marketing. So it's like, even me, like sometimes I got to stay focused. Like, you know how disciplined you got to be sometimes to have the kids like right there in your house, and I still got to sit there and like make sure I get this task done because I know what the outcome and the consequences are of me not doing it. So touch on that a little bit, man. Like you having your daughter waking up early, she's obviously asleep, you trying to be quiet going in and out the house, you know what I'm saying? You like, dang man, I done forgot my keys, hold on, let me go back in there, be quiet again, you know, get the stuff ready so I can get to work. I know how it go, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dang. And then like by the time you get home, it's like you want to have that connection and that vibe with them, but when you at work, sometimes it's like you be missing them, or you see something like Lilo and Stitch or whatever, and then you like, man, I know my daughter would love that, you know. But it's like inside, it's like this inner pull, you know. You wish when you're with them, you're like, dang, sometimes I'm missing out on money, but then when you at work, you like, dang, I'm missing out on my family, you know what I mean? And a lot of guys don't talk about that, bro. But
because the biggest thing, like one of the, I think it was that preacher in Dallas is the one that said it. He's like, a man is the toughest thing about being a man is we have to sacrifice one of two things, time or money. So he's like, I could give you all the time in the world, but we ain't gonna have no money.
Yep.
Or I could go get money, but I ain't gonna have no time. So that's one of the biggest toughest things that a man has to sacrifice, which is, you are correct, is one of the things that we don't really voice that much and stuff. Yeah, and it is tough because like you said, when you were, even though you're at work at home, and you still got to put your time on your job, so you can't really focus on your children stuff because you're doing what you have to do to provide for them. It is tough because like I said, when I try to make sure I get my content stuff, I focus on that, and I try to make sure everything's accurate, you know, the information is accurate, because I don't want to provide false information and stuff. So like when I'm doing my research and stuff, my daughter's right there just trying to get my attention and stuff, and it's just like okay, mommy, I'm you know, it's fun, okay, but Papi has to get this, you know, make sure. But she doesn't understand, because I mean, she's only 3 right now, but she doesn't understand, you know, that I'm just trying to do all this so I can hopefully one day be able to provide a better future. Well, not really a better future, but that I can provide something for her that she really, my goal is that she won't be shy to be out there to explore, you know, doing all this. Because a lot of people don't want to sit here and be in front of a camera because they're shy or something, you know. So, you know, they're embarrassed, or they feel like they're what they express their opinion, people are gonna, you know, in the comment section is gonna be all rough on them and stuff. Yeah, the comment section is a little rough, man.
It is. Y'all be savage out there, but drop a comment though, because we appreciate it. Yeah. But real quick though, I just want to share, if anybody who's watching this and you feel like, you know, sometimes you're having that inner turmoil between time and money, I'm always like trying to give practical tips. So I just want to drop this real quick while it's on my mind. you got to make an association with what that money is providing for your family. Yeah. You know, there's even been times I've been at work and I've been missing out on stuff, and I'll go back and be like, man, bro, like, I don't feel like being here. Like, I don't know how you are. I definitely had them moments at work where I'm like, man, I'm finna go tell my boss like something going on at home so I can go home and be with my family. Yeah. Like, we about to have a 3-day weekend, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people be working for Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying?
That's true too.
A lot of people doing trades on Memorial Day. Yeah. Kids are off. Mom's at home. You on Facebook, you on Instagram, wife sending you pictures of everybody barbecuing, having fun. You like, man, bro, I'm finna go tell my boss I'm sick. I'm finna go tell my boss, like, I got a family emergency. I ain't trying to be up here. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you're having that moment and you know that you need to get that income, you know, you need to get that bread, go back and like look at some of those times where you were able to take them to Chuck E. Cheese. You were able to go take them to the dentist. You were able to go buy them Christmas presents and to see them smiling and doing all that, because that's where you get that fulfillment from. That way you can like redirect that energy into what you need to take care of if you know you need to take care of that. If you got some PTO and you feel like, hey, I'm finna use my PTO and go be with my family, then do what you do. But I'm telling you, that's something that's practical that helped me in that moment where I'm struggling to have that inner battle while I'm knowing I still got to get this done. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
The only thing that's tough about it right now, like using your PTO, because you realize, you know, you got PTO and you take off and all that, but then your paycheck comes and you're like, damn, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly.
What the heck? So, you know, what sucks right now is like we're technically supposed to work 40 hours a week, but we're so used to working so much OT that we rely on the OT to provide and stuff. So we need the OT to be able to go out and stuff. Nobody can work on 40 hours to want to go out on vacation and stuff anymore. You need that OT now. So that's what right now sucks for us. You know, and everybody in general, you know, because they have to work that OT. They have to go and get that OT, and that's what makes the long hours.
Yeah.
That's why you have to work 12, 13, 14 hours, you know, because you need those hours in order to go to Chuck E. Cheese or something.
Or even worse, bro, you'd be like, man, I need this OT, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. You know, okay, your significant other come to you, be like, all right, bet, you know, we finna go ahead and do a date night Saturday.
Yeah.
Boss call you, hey, guess what, bro? Such and such just called off. Can you make it on Saturday? I got some OT for you. Yeah. Now you sitting there like, dang, bro, babe, how am I gonna have this conversation? You know what I'm saying? Because you like,
we were at Galveston and I got a call from work and I was like, oh man, come on, I'm at Galveston, I'm 3 hours or an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then I called back and I was, what's going on? I was like, oh man, we might need you to come in. You know, we can't find it. I was like, nah. I'm on vacation. I already told y'all. So let me call, see who can make it in to get y'all some parts and stuff. So, and that's what I had to do. I had to call that. But that was just like, dang, man, I can't just cut everything here and just say, hey, we got to go. Because it's like, got to go back to work. Like, what the heck? Yeah. And even my wife was like, nah, you got to make sure. Well, I already made the plans. You got to make sure that, hey, it's official, that you know they're not going to call you or bother you about anything. Which most of the time they don't, but it's like when they can't find the other guy, that's when they call and stuff.
That's what, bro, women don't be playing about it. Like, I be like, y'all go take y'all vacation. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife be like, no, you better tell them. Yeah. I said, you better be off. I'll be like, God, dog. I'll be like, hey, y'all. But at the same time, sometimes I be listening to her like, man, you right, man. Yeah. I didn't work 50 weeks for y'all, 50 hours a week. You know what I'm saying? For the last 5 years, I take off 5 days, and y'all calling me on the third day. Like when you really that's what your significant other be saying. Like you work every single day for them, you know, all this time, and now they want to call you on the third day. Like that's a problem. And then you really sit there and think about it. You be like, dang, you know what? You right. Yeah. Like they shouldn't be calling me. You know what I'm saying? So. There you go. We need each other. Boom. There it is. Different perspective, you know. Different perspectives help you make better decisions. But I know we only got limited time left. I just wanted to chop it up about the bullying thing, man. You know what I mean? I recently went through something with my kids on the bus, like with my daughter, where it was like a whole bully situation. Nothing to the extent that you were talking about, but definitely don't want to do a disservice to the fathers watching this. Everybody's dropping comments right now. Comment section going crazy. I see y'all. I appreciate y'all. But yeah, so just let them people know like about like the awareness of bullying. You know, I think a lot of people don't talk about cyberbullying, and then some different like tips and tricks on what they could do about it, because that's like extremely helpful in 2025's digital age.
Yeah, because when you think about bullying, when you talk about bullying, you know, you think about like Debo, you know, or someone big, someone twice or three times your size. But it really now it's like it could be the smallest kid, you know.
Facts.
It could be the smallest, skinniest kid, kid with the glasses. I mean, because that's how we got them school shootings. All them kids with the, I think they were all considered nerds or something, you know, because they were just different. It's not that they're nerds; it's just they probably have like different. They like different stuff rather than you. But one of the things I noticed, like me when going to school, we saw them kids that like to, you know, play Dragon Ball. I don't know if you know about Dragon Ball Z and all that.
Dude, love Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's my stuff.
Yeah, what? I'll go Super Saiyan right now.
And then that's when you have kids like that. They like to play it out, acting and stuff, and they're not weird. They love the show, and they so into it and all that, you know. And then one of the things like what I realized is a lot of the kids that did play like that in school, they have the same likes that I have. It's just because I didn't want to play it in front of everybody in school. They just didn't have the embarrassment like I did in school. So it's like we're the same. We're not. There's no difference between us. But that's what people. I think that's what one of the problems is when we see people like them kids playing around, we're thinking, oh, they're weird or something. They're being this character and stuff, but they're just expressing how they feel and stuff. And I think that's what one of the big issues with because the main bullying is always going to be with the little kids. But I feel like with the little kids, it's just they don't know if they're being like picked on because they're being liked, or the person picking on likes them or something. You know, it's kids don't know how to express their feelings or anything, so they're just being mean to the person and stuff. So, but it's just typically it's supposed to be it's meaning in a nice way, and then the other kids don't know how to or don't understand that's what it is and stuff, because they're just too embarrassed to try to tell them, hey, I like you, you know, or stuff. I mean, even me in high school, I was too embarrassed to tell a girl, hey, I think you're cute and stuff. We all had to go to MySpace or something, you know. We had MySpace. That was our Facebook back then.
Yeah,
and you know, hit them up through that, because I was too embarrassed. But I think that's one of the main issues, is that we just don't know how to express each other's feelings and stuff. But like the video you sent me, that one caught me off. Like,
bro,
I was just like, what the heck? Like that right there was bullying. Where it was
one in the bathroom. I sent you. Yeah,
that one, I was just like, wow. That one I couldn't believe, and you could tell the other girl was just scared. But I mean, I think she had like maybe it was 1 against 3.
Yeah.
So obviously she was gonna be scared because she knew. And then it looked like they were like 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. So obviously, yes, they're gonna be scared. So, but that type of in Huntsville, we had that type of issue not that long ago as well, where a mom went on the news saying that her daughter got beat up really bad by a boy. And then I was watching it, and I was just like, man, that lady looks familiar. It turns out it was a woman that I graduated, or I went to school with. And so I was like, man, I know her. So by knowing her, I knew how she was in school. So I was like, man, I'm going to look more into this, because I know how she was back then. So there's got to be more into this. Turns out the daughter was actually the one who always picks on everybody. Always the one that starts fights and stuff. The mom it just happened that the boy that she was picking on, I guess got fed up, and he just went crazy, because we saw the video, and it was like a fist fight, like if he was fighting another boy. So it was like, damn, you know, it's bad.
Who shot the video?
Another kids in the classroom, because you know all the kids have phones now, so they all see that. I think the school got it, and they started like kind of blocking faces and stuff, you know, doing their editing. Because it was a pretty bad altercation. That's
what I'm saying, man. Nowadays, man, like I'm trying to teach my kids to be as disciplined as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's like, bro, like anything could go down, and you finna be on camera ASAP. If you don't have hidden cameras, schools got cameras, bank got cameras, people got Ring cameras. Like, it's 9 times out of 10 you more likely to be on the camera than not, and it's the person that retaliates that gets the most heat.
Yeah,
because somebody might be getting picked on day in and day out, and then like you said, homeboy just be like, you know what, bro? Like, I didn't eat breakfast today.
Yeah, it's one.
I didn't already got it from my sister this morning.
Yeah.
You come into this school, like, I ain't having it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then just be like, wop, 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 wop.
Yeah.
Mess them up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it's
just
over.
Yeah, it's that little thing that just it creates that spark, and it just throws into a big old fire and everything.
Yeah.
And man, that's just, it's bad. It's right now, kids right now, it's bad right now.
Well, we might have to do a part 2, man. Y'all go ahead and drop all y'all comments for the questions. We're gonna have a part 2. If y'all have any questions about Knightriderz, any questions about Andres, any questions about bullying, either real bullying, cyberbullying, whatever it is, check out another episode of Phenomenal Fatherhood. Be sure to check out phenomenalfatherhood.com. Where can they find you?
Facebook right now, Facebook or Instagram, Andres Garcia. Right now, I don't really have a podcast or for my Knightriderz, I don't have social media on it right now.
Yeah,
I will be working on it eventually, but right now it's just my personal Facebook or Instagram. That's really where you can find me at.
Bet. Be sure to check out his personal Instagram. As for Phenomenal Fatherhood, we're at Phenomenal Fatherhood on YouTube, TikTok, Phenomenal Fatherhood 2023. Obviously phenomenalfatherhood.com, and then Phenomenal Fatherhood on MySpace. So we just talked about MySpace. We got to check us out on MySpace. I'm just playing. I don't know if MySpace is even still around. But we're on Facebook though too. We're on the book, you know what I mean? But shout out to MySpace for teaching me HTML. So in any case, man, you don't have to be perfect to be phenomenal. Make sure you take care of your kids. Make sure you take care of yourself for Father's Day. We'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.